Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the Healing Wednesday Circle of 12. I'm Lee Carroll.
And I'm Monica Muranyi.
This is our once-a-month free program. It's always a good one. We appreciate our YouTube subscribers tuning in, our Healing Wednesday members tuning in, and all of those of you who are here for the first time. If you're a member, and I say this because if you're not, you should hear this, the members receive replays of all of the shows. There's 4 a month. They get all 4. But I like the fact that the replays they receive are forever, and they get all of them. If you're a YouTube subscriber to my channel and you're hearing this, this also will be replayed, and you can have this one forever, but only 1 a month. So 1 time a month we do this, 4 times a month we do for our members portal. It's easy to subscribe. It's cryonmasters.com. Just go there, and you'll find out how to subscribe. We're streaming. And streaming often carries a little more weight, I would say, than a replay or a movie that you watch on Netflix. It takes a little more strength, and sometimes there are issues. We have had them, you have had them. And so if you have issues with your sound or with your picture or any of these things, just turn it off. We don't want you to be frustrated. Tune in later because there's replays, again, both on YouTube and also for the members. The members, you're going to get a replay in about an hour and a half. So that's the way it works. The program is Monica and I. We're going to start with what you hear we're doing now, saying hello to you. And we're going to have some Q&A, questions from our members in the member portal. We're going to have a channeling from Cryon. Then we're going to have an interview, and this is a good one. They're always good ones, but we try to tell you, especially if we have something really special, and we do today. And then we have our Circle of 12 meditation. So you haven't said much.
No, I think you've done a really good job explaining all those logistical things.
Okay.
And because we are answering questions from our members in the members portal, there is still a place where you can ask a question if you're not a member. And that's going to be on the cryonmasters.com. If you visit that website and scroll all the way down, often what happens, you click on a website and then that's it. You just think, well, I can't find it. You have to scroll down. So when you scroll down, it's very clear where you can submit a question for the Healing Wednesday program. Now,
I have another idea.
Lee has another idea. How about that?
Well, things happen, and you probably don't even know it. And this, I'm talking to members. How many of you members have known that we've actually had a place where you can submit questions for some weeks now? We've been trying it out. And I believe, I don't think I'm wrong here, it's cryonmasters.com/questions in lowercase.
I love that.
That'll just get you right there.
That'll get you there as well. And for those who are members, you have a membership portal, and within that you can submit a question as well. So Lee, I think it's worth going over what the criteria is for asking a question, because there actually is a criteria.
Yeah, briefly, we want you to ask questions that others might be interested in. We're not doing readings here. We don't tell your life story. Make your questions simple and succinct, and then we'll get considered. As you might imagine, we're going to get thousands of questions. So we're poring over all of them and looking for the ones that others, similar questions, and many who have asked the same ones. So that's the ones we're targeting right now. So if you write a paragraph, we probably won't read it. That's just the way. We've got too many to look at. So make them succinct, make them unpersonal, and they'll probably get used.
Absolutely. So how about we start? And I have picked 2 similar questions. They're on the very, and I love that. I love that we often get questions that more than one person is wondering about. So the first one is from Helena, and she's in Jakarta, Indonesia. She says, I have given instruction to my cells to slow the aging process. Should I repeat this again after a period of time for, say, a year, or is once enough? And then we have Patricia from Georgia in the US. Her question is this. Cryon says to talk to the cells and give them instructions. Why does he say to do this every day? Why isn't once or twice enough to get the message across? Now, they're great questions. And Lee, I'd love to hear your answer.
I'd like to give one that makes sense to everyone. And I will say this almost every time we do a Q&A. I'm going to spend enough time on the answers that I don't feel like I'm glossing them over just to get more questions in, because this is an important one. We try to select the questions, again, most asked, but also that I think are important because of what has happened. I say the difference between the old energy and the new energy. In this particular question that's being asked, it's about repetition, basically. And what is the difference between things that Cryon have said in the past where you only have to do something one time, or now where Cryon is saying do it every time? Cryon has always talked about talking to your cells, but let's take a look at two really different, I would say, perceptions. One is a decision you make, and another is a relationship you have. Let me be clear. In the beginning, when we started all of these metaphysical things, all of the channels, we were looking at decisions people were making. And the decisions were aha experiences. For instance, you may make a decision that is personal for you and spirit, and you may say, Dear Spirit, I have decided I am not a victim of this planet. I've decided I am going to have and take my magnificence. That's going to change my whole life. Dear Spirit, I'm going to be on board with certain things. That is a decision you make. And Cryon said from the beginning, that's heard one time. You don't have to say that every time. You don't have to say every morning, Dear Spirit, I've made a decision. I'm going to do this. Do you see? That is a decision. It is a metaphysical decision. Don't confuse it with a relationship. I have a relationship with my cells. I have affirmations I'm going to say every single day, because there's parts of your body that need to hear this. You need to hear this. Those who study all of this about consciousness, about what we're actually talking about, this relationship, say that this needs to be repeated. Now, we're not counting beads here. I'm sorry, don't write me letters. I hope that's not offensive to anybody. But that is a process. You simply count beads. You go through it. And that is something that perhaps you've been told to do. A relationship is not counting beads. I talk to my cellular structure personally. I actually do something else. I haven't even talked about this. I congratulate and thank my cellular structure for the kinds of things that I am talking to it about when I see results. I got a relationship, and I do it every day. I don't have to do it. I want to do it because it's a relationship. How many of you have really, I would say, understood that this is not something you're talking to a group of chemistry? You are talking to you, parts of you, with your consciousness. So there's an alliance. There is more than an alliance. There is a relationship. There's a great example, and I will tell you. And it goes like this. Woman says to a man, do you love me? And he says, well, of course I do. And she says, well, you don't tell me. And he said, what do you mean? I told you in 2003. Now, does that tell you a little bit? A relationship. You need to make this current almost every day. If you want that relationship to work, be succinct, and get results. This is the difference. Also, it explains affirmations, why you would do those in a repetitive way. Decisions you make with Spirit one time. Spirit gets it. When it comes to the relations you have with your cellular structure, over and over.
I love that, Lee. That really has defined it differently for me.
It defined it differently for me, too, because when I take these questions, you realize I'm studying what I would say.
Yeah.
And it's important that we're not taking them on the fly and just doing the best we can with answers. I want to make sure that they're succinct, and so I am sometimes redefining it even for myself so that others will know.
Yeah. So we have time for one more question, and this one is from Mario from Honduras. And Mario is part of our Spanish circle. Thank you, Mario, for your question. He is asking, how can I extract the magnificent, joyful, and empowered experiences of my life and of all that I have come to be? That's a great question, Lee. I especially like the word there is a giveaway. He's saying extract.
He is. And we've discussed this before.
We
so
did.
Let me just tell you. The words giveaway, I would call a perception that so many have. Let me give you the example that we've given before for an artist who sees a block of granite. All he has to do is extract what isn't there to make the magnificent sculpture. That is what you're doing. You're not extracting the magnificence. You're extracting that which doesn't work. You are magnificent. Now let's get rid of the things that don't work. And the more you get rid of, the more magnificence you see and is yours. Now, does that...
I love it because you have totally turned the question around to a different perspective. Instead of going in to pull something out, you're saying it's already there, and it's stripping away the layers that stop you being that.
So let's go further. This is the reason for Circle of 12. This is the reason for all of the channelings. It's to extract that which doesn't belong in your life, which is darker than you are, if you want to call it that way, or is not who you are, and throw it away. Also, you might recognize that the Circle of 12 meditation, not the channeling of the day, but the meditation is very similar every time. We are repeating the same kind of things a little differently. But the meditation then is I would say, an answer to that first question as well. We're repeating and repeating so that you can sit in the chair, so you can feel it. And the more we do it, it's like exercise. It's going to grow, and this is going to be something that becomes you. And it also serves to extract those things which you are not part of. So it really goes hand in hand, and all of these questions, I think, are part of that same answer.
And I think the only addition I would have is that this journey we're on, it's a lifelong endeavour. And I believe that we all have moments where we can slip into what we call duality, where we get angry or mad, and sometimes we can get upset with ourselves for acting a certain way or behaving a certain way. The thing is, this is a lifelong lesson, a lifelong journey, and you do it from repetition and practice, isn't it, Lee?
It is, and even some of the questions coming up that I know that we're going to cover in other meetings, it goes even further than this in perception of how people think it is, as opposed to perhaps the way Cryon and Spirit will tell you it is. And really, truly, it has to do with light and dark. We are magnificent beings. We were born magnificent, and it starts there.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the answers from Lee for those questions, and I believe we are now getting ready for a mini meditation from myself and Cryon's channel. So I invite you to close your eyes, and I'd like to focus on Gaia. Everything that Gaia gives us is filled with unconditional love and benevolence. So let's take it further. And I invite you to think of one thing from Gaia that gives you such joy, such bliss. It could be puppies. It could be kittens. It could be swimming with the dolphins and whales. It could be a tree. It could be a mountain. It could be a river. Whatever it is from Gaia that gives you just that pure state of bliss and joy, I'd like you to focus on that one thing. Feel that connection you have from a loving planet just for you. And with that deep love, that feeling of gratitude and appreciation, let us send that back into Gaia. Thank you, Gaia, for loving us. Thank you, Gaia, for being here. Thank you, Gaia, for all your gifts that you give us. And I would like you to receive a wave of deep love from Gaia. Gaia is saying to you, thank you, your name goes here, for being here. Thank you, your name goes here, for loving us. And take a deep breath. And allow yourself to soften and melt into the chair. Relax all your muscles in this deep state of appreciation and gratitude. Let us welcome the loving message from Cryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Cryon of Magnetic Service. Again, we say to you, there is no mystery here. We know who is watching, who is listening, now, later, whenever it takes place. We know the ones who